Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the return for The Walking Dead Season 9. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on Daryl now being the last Walking Dead man standing. Alright, and spoiler warning, if you are not caught up for The Walking Dead, which is up to the mid-season finale for The Walking Dead Season 9. Oh man, I just had to do a video with you guys today, because it's been a few days. I'm like, I gotta make a goddamn video, gotta make a Walking Dead video. I don't know, we're gonna do it. So, whatever it is, we're going to do it. So we got some things to go over, kind of a dead update as per usual, some new articles and info about The Walking Dead. There's not that much out right now, though, because, of course, we're just getting ready for the holidays, and so there isn't as much news as per usual for Walking Dead, certainly as there is during the year when it's on or when we're getting ready for a new season. But we got some good stuff to discuss in this one, and we'll start things off with giving our thoughts on Daryl now being, as Beth called him in Still, I believe, the last man standing. It was around that time, when she went around that time. Our favorite, the best episode ever. No. We'll do a top 10 best episodes of The Walking Dead ever this week. I'm working on that one right now, so that'll be done the next couple days for you guys. Maybe we should even move it up to 15 because there's so many episodes now. It's hard to say like the top 10 best episodes The Walking Dead's ever done and narrow it down to just 10 when now they're over 100 and counting, right? So it's pretty crazy. But to qualify this or to explain this one here, that Daryl is now the last man, because of course we have Carol as well too, right? So you got to count that too. But it brings into question like which of the two is going to be left, right? Now we also have to say, of course, Rick is not dead, so he's just gone. Morgan's not dead, he's just gone. But whether or not Morgan will survive all the way through that 6-year time skip is another question. We don't know that. They went ahead a lot this year. I guess it would be even more than 6 years because there was the first time skip, and then there was another one after the Maggie hanging with with Gregory, a little one, small one, like a month or something. And then there was another time skip after Rick all the way through. So it's like it's so far into the future now. We have no way of knowing whether or not Morgan is still alive at this time because he left the original Walking Dead series at the end of All Out War, which was over 7.5 years prior to where we're seeing our characters at right now in the Walking Dead original canon series. So not counting Rick, not counting Morgan, as far as our original core group from the Walking Dead goes, Daryl is the last man, alive, and especially now that, of course, Carl's been killed off and everything. A lot of us never really thought this would happen, but that's what's going on right now. Who will be left? Who will be the very last one is more tricky to say. Of course, Rick's got the few movies coming out. We know that Carol and Daryl have both signed on for at least a few more years of the Walking Dead series, which would take us through to like around season 12-ish or so. And then who knows for Fear if it's even going to get another 3 years. That's another question in and of itself. And what they would do if it doesn't and what they want to do with that, we'll have to see. But here was the main cast when the series first started, when the first season of The Walking Dead started. We had Andrew Lincoln as Rick Grimes, of course. So we had Rick, who's still, he's going to be in the movies and that kind of thing. But he's not ever returning, as he said, to the original Walking Dead show. So he's categorically never coming back. So, we could kind of say he's alive out there in the universe. So you can count that in a way, but he's not going to be the last man in the Walking Dead TV series in terms of the series itself. So we had him, we had Shane, of course, who we got to see recently. It was very cool to see John Bernthal return. Of course, he's dead. We had Lori Grimes, Sarah Wayne Kelly says Lori, she's dead, been a long time. Lauren Holt as Andrea, dead way early, way prematurely killed there, that's for sure. Jeffrey DeMunn as Dale, who wanted off the show at the end of season 2, right, from what it was reported, so he's dead, that's for sure. Then Glenn, oh man, Stephen Yeun as Glenn's dead, obviously. If you guys, happen to forget that one, and you can't forget that one, right? And then there was Chandler Riggs as Carl. So that's crazy, man. That's the main cast, right? Now we get into the supporting cast, and also pay attention that in terms of the main cast list, none of those, are any of them still in the show? No. none of them are. If you count Rick as leaving, none of them are still in the show. All the rest are dead. The supporting cast, there was Emma Bell as Amy, who of course died, the very first season. Did not survive the first season. There was Norman Reedus as Daryl. Okay, so there we go. We got a hit. We got one so far out of all the season 1 characters that's still alive in the original Walking Dead TV series. We got Irone Singleton as T-Dog, who of course went out saving Carol, which thankfully for him, because she then later saved the group and has fought for the group all the way through and turned out to be a super vicious killer, and awesome. And then of course Carol, as mentioned, so she's still alive. So her and Daryl in the original series, the last season 1 survivors. Out of that group, Jackie, Jim, Morales, right? Sophia, and then there was Ed, of course, who didn't make it, and then some others as well too, Jenner and some of the other guest cast. He's not even on the supporting cast. Is Lenny James as Morgan, Michael Rooker as Merle, and then some others as well too, which none of which are still alive at this time. So that's pretty crazy to look back at the very first season. Out of everybody, you have 4 in total, with the 2 having left to their own individual projects, Movie and Fear, and then the only 2 you have left in the original Walking Dead series are Daryl and Carol, with Daryl being the last man standing, as technically, as Beth had said. So that's crazy to think on. That's crazy to hear. And who will be left between Daryl and Carol? I want to see you guys leave a comment below. Who will be the final series survivor from the first season? Or do you think it could be possible that Rick or Morgan could return and actually, set that record? Because a few more years here, it's gonna be close. You lose any one of these 4, right? However the Rick movies go and however Fear goes, and then it'll be down to Carol and Daryl last, the final race here of who's gonna be the longest Walking Dead survivor. Maybe I'm going with Daryl. I think Daryl might do it. Norman Reedus might pull it out as the unlikely longest survivor in The Walking Dead. That's who my money's on right now. And you guys can leave your comments below on who your money's going to be on for that one. Then we have one that could be in the description to Forbes.com. Eric Kane posted this one. Looks like it's about Michael Cudlitz had some harsh words for Rick Grimes. So from then it says here, let's be clear, if he was going to kill anyone other than me and I had no choice, it would be Rick. Because how many more people was that asshole going to get killed, right? Cudlitz said, according to comicbook.com. And while the audience was apparently shocked by this statement, he's not wrong. Rick led his people into one disaster after another. This started long before the disastrous Negan storyline, but Rick, I guess Eric doesn't like the Negan stuff at all. But Rick reached new heights of recklessness and stupidity as the show's writing quality plummeted. Then it says, quote here, these are these guys' words, not mine, right? So, hey, I got a plan. Let's show up to where all the saviors are with 500 weapons, have them step 15 feet out into the balcony unarmed, and shoot the windows out above his head. You all know that sucked. It was like A-Team showed up, so he had to shoot all the windows out above. So that's true. And then moving straight, firing before, imitating the showy savior leader. So he's right there. He walks out the door. It's not even like he peeks out. He's like, well, Rick, ha ha ha, we better run, right? That kind of thing. So I take it Michael Cudlitz didn't like it. He didn't direct that episode, right? So he didn't direct any of the season 8 episodes, just the season 9 episode. But, the biggest thing with me is I'm happy he's still involved with The Walking Dead, and that's kind of funny to hear his criticism on kind of the way season 8 went. I've listened to the Blu-ray where it has the a voiceover or commentary from Gimple and some of the others, and he explains it for the scene. So what he says is that and I think Michael Cudlitz has actually done commentary in some of the other seasons too, like season 7 and that. Pretty sure he's done some commentary episodes, which is cool. But so what Gimple said for season 8's first half is that the plan was to pin them down, and then have all this huge Walker army come in, and not necessarily have to finish off all the saviors themselves or kill them. It was to kind of pin them in and, basically starve them out, or pin them in and have the Walkers finish the job. So that's why they kind of wanted to kind of get out of there with haste, because they knew what was coming. And Rick did go after Negan. He just wasn't able to get him, right? He was shooting after him and going after him, and Negan was scrambling and hiding, and there was a whole thing with him and Gabriel getting stuck inside of that, what was like an RV, that type of thing. And or the storage, whatever it was, like an RV or storage container, something like that. It was like, I think it was an RV. And then, it had all the had all the walkers around it and everything, and you had the savior version of Guts with Gabriel there, and then he gets captured in the whole thing that happens during All Out War. So that's kind of how it goes. I mean, they couldn't have him kill Negan in the very first episode of season 8. I mean, it just they got to kind of work around it and stuff. So so he thinks it sucks. I'm not going to argue with him that it doesn't, but at the same time, I listened to it and I know where they're going with that and what they were trying to do. But I do hear what you're saying, that they should have been just shooting up there, and it's they're right there, shoot at them, So I get what he's saying here. But I do like the fact that he's so involved with the series that he actually is able to the point to actually give his thoughts on it, and of course is still working on everything like that, because that's great to see. I mean, he's one of the very few that are still helping and working on the show and everything. And I'd like to see him direct some more episodes in the future, because he was so great in the series. And the episode that he did there was at number 7 of season 9, I think, somewhere around there. It was great. I thought it was really great. So I enjoyed it, and yeah, that's cool. Then we got some of JDM posting a wanted poster for Negan and a new baby. So it sounds like JDM is a father again, right? Has another baby, so that's cool. So link me in the description to comicbook.com for you guys to check that one out as well. Kind of a nice carryover. It kind of reminds me of the part with Abraham. Kind of reminds me of the season 5, where it wasn't there a part where him and Rick kind of got alpha on each other, and there was a little bit of heat between them. It's kind of funny that it kind of feels like to me it's almost carrying over even after Abraham's been killed off, right? It's kind of cool. So check out the pictures of JDM stuff as well too, with the baby and everything. That's cute. Then we've got some comments for today, questions, that kind of thing. So I did a video on Sunday, was it, where we did top 5 most anticipated series for next year, and I wanted to clear something up. Chris Mulcahy said, Game of Thrones your favorite? I thought The Walking Dead was. So I just wanted to clarify for any new viewers to the channel that don't know, The Walking Dead is absolutely my favorite series of all time. There's no question about that. It's my favorite over not just Game of Thrones, but any other series I've seen. I love Turtles, for example. It's even my favorite over TMNT, and it almost feels wrong to say because TMNT is so sacred. Growing up in the early 90s, Dragon Ball, any other series. Walking Dead is my favorite series of all time by far at this point. I mean, the amount of years it's run for and how much fun it's been all throughout the years. To think that this is the 9th year and it's still still looking forward to it so much to find out what they're going to do, and still so many awesome things happening in the show. Yeah, man, it's still my favorite series that's ever been on. But I'm looking forward to Game of Thrones because it's its last hurrah. I'm looking forward to that more than just the back half of season 9 of The Walking Dead, because this is it for Game of Thrones. Once it has this season, this year coming up, 2019, it's over. This is the end. So to see the final end of how that thing's going to play out, yeah, we're all very excited to see how that goes. But The Walking Dead is still my favorite and probably always will be. EH says, you know what I'm not anticipating? Whiskey Cavalier, right? So that's Lauren Cohen's next series, right? That she's going to be starring in. So sounds like he's not too, enthused about it. But we'll see how it does. We're not the audience. We're not the target audience for Whiskey Cavalier, obviously, right? That's which network is it? NBC or ABC or one of those? I forget. I think it's NBC. Whatever. Whichever one it ends up on. They're all cookie cutter, same kind of deal, right? And she probably even knows that anyway. But it's probably going to be easier to do than what she has to do in Walking Dead, because, Walking Dead, you got to do all the crying scenes. You got to do all the, all those, spending time in the sun, everything like that, and everything they have to do. It's probably way harder to do Walking Dead than do some other show like that, where you're in air-conditioned environments and you can dress up nicely and you can do all that kind of stuff, and you don't have to kill zombies and have guts and blood all over you all the place all the time. So it makes total sense that you take the job. But we'll see if it gets a second season, and I think Walking Dead fans are generally hoping that it doesn't, so that you can see Maggie return in season 10, which I hope we will see that, but no guarantees, right? Tori Han F says, kind of sad when you got to put Daryl in the thumbnail to represent The Walking Dead and not Rick. Yeah, man, absolutely. This video on Sunday had Daryl in the thumbnail, and that's the deal, right, going forward. I mean, even for me when I'm sitting here making the videos and stuff, it's separated now. It's just the same as with Morgan. If I use Morgan in a thumbnail, that's going to be for Fear of the Walking Dead. It's not going to be for The Walking Dead anymore. And likewise with Rick, if you guys see Rick in the thumbnail, it's probably going to be the movies. That's what we're going to be talking about. From now on, it's going to be the Walking Dead characters. Michonne, Daryl. The ones that are still in the series are going to be the ones that we're going to be thumbnailing and seeing pictures of and everything, and it's kind of sad, but at the same time, what can you do, right? That's how it goes. And of course, anytime we get info for the movies, I'll be doing videos on it for you guys, and maybe we'll do a throwback review to Day of the Dead, which is really cool because based on kind of what we've seen so far in it, it really looks like they might do some kind of similar type of deal to what we saw in Day of the Dead. So maybe some predictions regarding that. So we'll see, and we'll get into that a little bit pretty soon. So good stuff with that, and yeah, man, sorry, but there's going to be a lot more Daryl for sure going forward. And not sorry about that, but just sorry that, it's not going to be Rick going forward. And it'll only be Rick for the movies, and that's just how it's going to be. You won't see his face for the Walking Dead series probably anymore, right? Eglin says, sorry, Trev, The Walking Dead is great and finally getting better, but any season of Game of Thrones is better than any season of The Walking Dead. Well, it depends what you like for Eglin. And I've done videos comparing Game of Thrones to The Walking Dead before. There are a few seasons of Game of Thrones that are absolutely unbelievable. Season 6, for example, especially near the end. Season 7 is also a short season, but it's really incredible. But, it's got its own feel, and it depends also what you like too, right? It depends if you like, I love both series independently. I think they're both incredible. I think they're two of the best series ever. They might be my two favorite series ever. So like number one Walking Dead for me, number 2 Game of Thrones. But it is coming to an end soon, and it's a different type of model. You have to understand, Game of Thrones got $100 million for season 6 for a budget to work with. That's a different ball game than what The Walking Dead gets. Has The Walking Dead ever got $100 million for a season? I doubt it. I think season 9 would not have got $100 million. In fact, I'd almost guarantee you it didn't get $100 million. So it's not really fair for us to kind of compare. You have different filming teams for Game of Thrones that are filming all around the year. You have HBO, which is a paid network, which people have to subscribe to so they can do bigger budgets. And it's just a totally different deal. And then in addition to that, sometimes they're doing less episodes, which lets them concentrate in the episodes more in terms of quality. Sometimes they're skipping a year with this last season to make sure it gets done right. And whereas The Walking Dead has been cranking 16-episode years every year after year after year after year. That's a different type of deal now because Game of Thrones is coming up with its 8th and final season. The Walking Dead, we already saw season 8. You know what I mean? That's like 2 years ago now. It's a year. It's not quite 2 years ago, but you guys get what I'm saying. It feels like it is because we're halfway through season 9. By the time Game of Thrones finishes its 8th season, The Walking Dead will have finished its 9th season. So it's really way ahead and longer seasons too, with more episodes than that. But it depends what you like. If you're a fan that's been a fan of zombie apocalypse stuff since you were a kid, like I have, since I saw Night of the Living Dead when I was like, in grade 7 or something like that, what was it? What would that be, like 11, 12, 13 years old, something like that. Ever since that, I just love zombie apocalypse stuff. And once The Walking Dead came in, it was like, no one's ever done it this well before. But then again, there's people who say the same thing about, mythology. And maybe they were big Lord of the Rings fans when they were teenagers, and now they're adults. And now there's Game of Thrones, which is like Lord of the Rings on steroids, for adults. You know what I mean? So it's with the darkness and the killing and everything, and without the soft, getting chased by these giant orcs all over the place, and nobody dies. It's like, I think that orc would crush your face. You know what I mean? Like I know you're okay. I know you're whatever, Aragorn or whatever, this character, that character, whatever. Not Gandalf. He can be, okay, Gandalf will beat anybody, but you guys get what I'm saying. So it depends what you're into, man. Game of Thrones is done with unbelievable quality, and there's no one denying that. It's incredible, but it does get a bigger budget. It does have multiple teams doing work all year on it, and it's just a totally different deal, right? So, but there are definitely seasons, like I said, I enjoy Walking Dead more, but certainly there's certain episodes of Game of Thrones you could put up to the best episodes of The Walking Dead. Like, what's better, Battle of the Bastards or No Way Out? What's better? Some of the season 7 episodes, or like, what can you put from Walking Dead against that? It's pretty difficult to compare. It's pretty difficult because they're two different universes, and I love them both. It's like you have two children. It's like, which one do you like better, and which one's better than the other? It's like, it kind of feels wrong to kind of say. I think we should respect them both for what they are, and if you're a fan of both types of universes, then you're going to love both series. And yeah, man, that's really all I got to say about that one. I don't want to sit here and say that every episode of Game of Thrones is better than any episode of The Walking Dead. I don't think that's true either. There's some episodes of The Walking Dead that are incredible, like the season 9 episode, Rick's last episode. That was an incredible episode. So, you could put that up there and compare that one to some of the best, Game of Thrones episodes. To me, after watching it all these years and being such a fan. And it's like it's hard to kind of say like which one, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel, it's not fair, you know. They're not on a fair playing field. If Walking Dead was on HBO and it had that kind of a budget and the same kind of deal and the same kind of episode run lengths and all that stuff, then we could compare better and we could, you know, it would make more sense because it'd be a similar kind of model. But it's not. And I'm not complaining about that. I'm happy The Walking Dead is going to keep going. It would be over already had it have been on HBO probably, unless, you know, who knows. Rock Universe Gaming says, what were your guys' favorite shows of 2018? That's a good question, man. This year, for me personally, I'd say, you know, obviously Walking Dead Season 9's first half, with looking forward to seeing, well, both the end of All Out War and Season 8's second half, and then the first half to Season 9. You know, Walking Dead's number one for me for sure. Of course, Game of Thrones didn't show up this year. They didn't have a new season, but they will in 2019 pretty soon, in the early spring, I believe. So that's great to hear. And then after me, like surprisingly, after Walking Dead, for me, it'd be Fear the Walking Dead. I thought Fear the Walking Dead, even though, you know, some of the episodes made you so mad you wanted to smash your TV, right? like the mid-season finale made me want to just break stuff. And then also the Nick episode too. But still, I gotta say, man, I was more glued watching Fear than almost any other series I can think of this year. Like, what other series this year? You know, Better Call Saul was kind of like, it was okay. I didn't even see the whole thing through. I still haven't seen it all the way through. Z Nation, I kind of lost it with Z Nation. I got to get back into Z Nation and see what's been going on with that, because I haven't seen the whole season yet. And then other series, I'm thinking this year, I'm like, I don't know, man. It's been all for me anyway. And what I've been doing with the channel here with you guys and everything, and what I've been really into, it's been all Walking Dead stuff this year. Walking Dead and then Fear. Other series, just, it's okay, but hasn't done it for me too much this year. Mr. No Love said, Trev, are you serious? I know the last season of True Detective wasn't great, but it has to be more anticipated than Fear the Walking Dead. Let's be truly honest. That's just one more series that I liked the first season of True Detective. Then I tried the second season, and I couldn't really get into it as much for some reason. And I kind of dropped off, and now it's like, what, years later? And, you know, so I just dropped off of it. So it's no dig against it that I didn't have it on my top 5 most anticipated series. It's just that I'm not up to date with True Detective, and that's all there is to it. Anyway, that'll be it for today's video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, leave a comment below. Let me know who you think will be the final survivor out of the first season characters. And right now, Daryl being the last male survivor from that season and still in the series, in the canon original series. And your most anticipated series for next year, comparisons, what you're most excited for, all that good stuff. And if you like the video, thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left to subscribe. Thank you guys all for watching. Thanks for subscribing. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. I'll see you guys soon.